Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I'm here with Ryan Banks, and we're gonna talk about his comic, Solo Legion. How you doing?
Doing good, John. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Good. I almost got home too late. I had to rush home, but got here in time to take a shower and not be late with you. How's everything?
It's going well, man. Going well. This is really a treat for me, man. I've wanted to meet you for a long time, and
Oh,
I
cool.
jump in the streams with you and RJ on Wednesdays, and this is really cool, man. This is
Yeah,
really
I
cool.
remember. I remember seeing your name. You comment a lot. It's always fun to see somebody in the chat all the time and then actually put a face to it, talking. So I guess we'll stop beating around the bush. You got a comic book out, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell us about. So it was funny because I was in the car driving. I got an hour commute, so I got a lot of time to daydream. And I'm thinking Solo Legion. These are
Mhm.
two opposite words that mean the exact opposite. It's like having Lone Rangers. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So you want to explain a little bit about this?
Absolutely. So I love history, and I've always been into Roman history. And so I used to read about the Emperor Constantine and how he would use his legions, the different legions. They trained together, they fought together. And I thought, okay, that word legion, it always stuck with me. And then I always liked the concept of being a solo hero where, you could have the confidence to take on the world by yourself. And so when I was letting all these different names marinate, I couldn't get over combining solo, where you're the individual hero, with Legion, where you fit within the team concept. And I just couldn't get over that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to call them Solo Legion. And that also leads into them all having their own individual story. And then also having the team story, which is how I constructed the narrative and the continuity. So
Okay. It's funny because I just did an episode last week with telepathic bunny Cooper about Legion from the Bible. I am Legion.
mhm, mhm.
So this word has been popping up a lot. I have a thing about words, and sometimes I notice that there's like patterns of words,
Yep.
so like I wonder what's going on with Legion. Like this word has been popping up. Like talking, I'm always talking about the Roman Empire. I'm not
Mhm,
stereotyped. I love the Roman. As you can
mhm.
see, my character, the patriarch, has
Uh-huh.
Roman Emperor colors. So
Mhm.
we'll talk about your comic in a second. But you said you're a history guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do you? That's my degree. I have a degree
Really?
in
Okay.
Greco-Roman history.
Really?
And I wanted to teach college,
Okay.
but I was broke. I needed to take a job, but I started teaching grammar school,
Okay.
and I was excruciatingly bored because I wanted to talk to people about Roman Empire and everything like that. Now I'm
Uh-huh.
teaching kids how to read. A, can we move on, please? Do you get A? And I never got to teach, and then I went into construction. So I don't get to talk to people about history.
Man, I love history. I love Egyptian history. I love Babylonian history. I love archaeology. I love Roman history. I love Sumerian history. I love biblical history. I love American history.
So
I mean,
is
I love it. So,
so I mean the word legion is from the Roman legion. So
mhm.
is history a big inspiration for your stories, for your
Oh,
comics?
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned going back in history. I actually have that as part of my lore. So
Okay.
my heroes go back into history, they go into the future, they're in the present, they go into other dimensions.
Do they
And
time travel, or just the story goes back and forth?
so it is time travel, and it's
Okay.
unique because they're limited to 10 days in the past, and each day in the past is an hour in the present. And they are in the
You're making me do math. So okay, they're limited to 10 days in the past, but each day is an hour in the present.
yes. So let's
Okay,
say you get up to,
so they leave, spend 10 days, come back 10 hours later.
yes,
Okay,
exactly.
okay, all right, I can understand that.
Yeah. So like
Math is
let's
complicated for me.
Yeah. Let's say you had to go to work, but you're a hero, right? And you get a call to go back into the past to save someone who's in the past praying for deliverance. You, in essence, are their angel of deliverance from the future. So what happens is you miss work that day, right? Because you're gone 10 hours, but you're not permanently out of this timeline. You're in the past, but it's 10 days in their
I
timeline.
gotcha.
And the reason for that is I couldn't figure out how you do a real good story arc in less than that time period and make it really, really gritty. So I said, you've got to give them more time in the past, but it can't take too much time in the present.
Okay, I mean that's if you read the Chronicles of Narnia, that when
Yes.
they go to Narnia, they spend long periods of time in Narnia and they come back and not much time has passed.
Absolutely.
So I got to ask now. Okay, you could tell us, but are they in the future and they're looking back at all the past and they're like guardian angels fixing the timeline, or is it?
No, it's mission based. So basically, here's what happens, just to give you the kind of A to Z. So in my lore, you have God, who is the creator, and you have Satan, who is a character called Portal Master. Okay. So you have people in the past, such as, let's say there's a village that's being attacked by Genghis Khan. There are people in that village who are praying for deliverance. My heroes will go back through a portal. They'll go back in time. They will defend that village from Genghis Khan as an answer to the prayers of the people that were in that village praying for deliverance.
Okay.
Same thing with the future. Somebody in the future, something's going on. They go into the future. So they're traveling to deliver people, to deliver innocent people who believe in the creator and are praying for deliverance. So it's basically, instead of angels directly in getting involved, it's the Solo Legion characters.
So I got to ask now. So, like, are they fixing the past so that like what we remember is what actually happened, or is
okay? Yes, yes. And this took me a long time to figure out. So basically, the way most time travel works, people go into the past, and like Days of Future Past completely screws up the concept. So my heroes are never able to change the present. The present would have been worse if they hadn't gone back into the past and saved the day back then. So for instance, let's say there's something in World War II. It would have been worse if my heroes had not been taken into the past to fix whatever that was. Let's say Hitler's transporting not nuclear. I guess at that point they didn't have nuclear. Let's say there's some arsenal of weapons Hitler is transporting. If Solo Legion hadn't gone back into the past, Hitler would have won World War II. So everything they do in the past is what made the future what it is.
Okay. All right. So they're making, if they don't intervene, our present as we know it would be different.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm the reason why I'm asking is if you've been watching for a while, I'm super picky about time travel.
I know. That's why I had to be prepared, man.
So there's only a few movies that get time travel right according to my rules, and one of them is 12 Monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
But I was gonna say, like, Back to the Future, that one gets a pass because it's a popcorn movie. It's not.
Yes.
It doesn't even take itself seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you one other caveat to that.
Sure.
So let's say they go back into the past and they want to do something that would directly affect their timeline. They're forbidden from doing it. They're restrained from doing it. So their own timeline never gets affected. Their own birth would never be affected, because if they were going to change something that would stop their birth from occurring, they can't affect it.
Like they can't, like, physically, like,
exactly.
Like what would stop them? Okay, let's just say, I don't know, Captain Strength. I'm making up people because I don't. Captain Strength just gets a wild hair and he's gonna kill his own grandmother. What would stop him from doing that?
Basically, they're held back by a force, and it's basically a force that the creator controls. And if they were going to do something that would stop their own birth from occurring, they're forbidden. They're restrained by this force from stopping.
So like they just like freeze, or like a hand comes out of the skies.
Exactly. They're stopped from doing that. Like for instance, let's say they're one of my characters, Shadow Master. Let's say he's shooting an arrow that is going to have to kill some villain, but that villain is somewhere in his timeline. That arrow's not going to kill that villain. That villain's going to escape because he has to, or Shadow Master wouldn't be born.
Okay.
And obviously, you got to have a little suspension of disbelief. But what I try to do,
when it comes to time travel, yes.
Absolutely. So what I try to do is just fill in the gaps that I see most people miss. And then after that, it's still fiction. So there's always going to be some slight holes in it. But for the most part, I think I tried to plug the major holes that I see, most people have in time travel.
I wrote my time travel story, and I'm getting it proofread by people. if I may toot my own horn, I didn't think it was that good, but other people like, oh yeah, this is so good. This is so good. One person told me, chuck it all out. And another 4 people told me, don't change a thing. So
yeah.
But
Yeah, well, but you know what, man?
I love it, but it's rough. Have you ever read 2000 AD, when Alan Moore, before it became Alan Moore, he wrote stories for 2000 AD, and they made a collection of it by Titan Books. I think it's called Twisted Tales, and it's just time travel stories by Alan Moore. That there's a story in that, I gotta get the name of the story, but it does time travel perfect. But anyway,
no, I've never read it, and I will give you this disclaimer, man. You are like expert level comic book analysis, history. You know all the artists, you know all the writers, you know the golden age, the silver age. I've just
been reading longer than most. You know, it's just age. When you're my age, you'll be up there too. I mean, and again, don't get discouraged. My rules, the only real rule for time travel is you have to be consistent.
And that's it. You have to have continuity and consistency. And that's obviously something Marvel and DC have a hard time with. So I say when I construct mine from the ground up, it'll have continuity, consistency, and rules that are, you know, that the reader can follow these rules throughout the series. So
right. It's like I like one of the things that I don't like about time travel is they use it as a get out of consequence free card. Yep. You know, and that's my big bugbear with time travel.
Same here.
So in my comics, like, I there's only one timeline in my comic books.
Yes.
There's a line. And if you go back in time, just think of it as you made a loop, but you can't change it. If so I go back in time, and I kill myself. You know what I mean? I just got my channel nuked by saying that. What I really did was I created a loop. And think of it in like 3 dimensions. So then this bubble, that bubble, I call it, that's a paradox. So anybody looking outside, they just saw me just disappear. You know, and what it is that my time travel went into this paradox, and I'm now trapped in this continuing loop where 50% of the time I'm going forward in time, 50% of the time, and that goes on for, and it's like a soap bubble. So that's the way I look at it. And this paradox can break free, and you're lost. Basically, by doing something that would create a paradox, 99% of the time, it's basically killing yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So Outlookers, it looks like I disintegrated or something like that, and everybody just goes on. And of course, for a while before that fragile bubble collapses, maybe some intrepid explorer could go in and retrieve you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So there's a little foreshadowing of a future story. Is your time travel anything like that? Or
no, actually, mine's
and you're not wrong by doing it your way.
Yeah, mine's a complete opposite. Mine is linear. So when you get the comic book, you'll see that in the beginning, as a matter of fact, I'll show it to you right here.
Sure.
So right here, comic book starts at 5004 BC.
Okay.
And it's linear moving forward. Okay. Oh, you want to?
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah, 5004 BC. And then that shows they're in Texas. So, and a lot of times people ask, well, why did you start your timeline at 5004 BC?
Yeah, that's a very specific number. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm a Christian, and I'm what they call a young earth creationist.
Okay.
So if you go back into the old King James Version, creation started at 5004 BC. So I decided to start Earth's timeline at 5004 BC and move forward. That makes sense? And that way it allows me to truly use BC years and AD years in real linear fashion. So when my heroes are going back in time, they're not going back to some prehistoric time. They're literally going back to AD, whatever the year is, or BC and whatever the year is. And so now, prior to creation, obviously there's the fall of Lucifer, which I have a comic book that's going to tell his story. So Portal Master's Lucifer, and he's going to tell, you know, the backstory. So, but that's what I would consider a heavenly timeline. But Earth's timeline starts at 5004 BC. So it's linear from there forward.
Okay. Now I got to ask, since it's all really, and so basically God is the Professor Xavier of the Solo Legion. He's the leader, or
So the way it works is God is known as the creator. So
okay.
with each of the heroes, they've all had some accident or some
Okay, you're answering my question before I even asked it. Okay.
So they've all had some tragedy, some accident that either could have maimed them or killed them. And at the moment it could have killed them, God turned that, what would have been a death or an injury, into what gave them their superpower.
Okay. I like that. That works.
And throughout the stories, he has a relationship with them in which he shows up in their headquarters and he speaks to them, gives them wisdom, etc., etc. Or like in one story, he forces Portal Master, who is Lucifer, he forces them to tell his story so that they know who he is and what his agenda is, basically. And that's the one time when he's forced to tell the truth. And so God isn't going to be in every story. He's the great good, and he's the one who is orchestrating anytime there's miracles that have to occur. Just like in regular life, there's miracles that occur. He's there to intervene from time to time, but there's also times he doesn't intervene, because in our lives there's times he intervenes and there's times he doesn't. And so yeah, that's how it works.
Okay. I was trying to, I was going to look at a picture of your comic. Let me see if this will work. So this is from your website.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. And I'm going to make this big so we can see.
Okay.
So that's the cover of your comic, Solo Legion #1, digital version. Mm-hmm. Good for you. I got dragged kicking and screaming into digital. I'm an old fart. I like my but anyway, I want to look at this cover now. You got a lot of characters on that cover. Is there any way I could get a bigger image? Because I like doing the rundown and get the names, because I love superhero names.
How about this? Do you want to run the trailer real quick?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Let me. I'll leave this up while I'm getting that link.
Sure.
Where's the trailer? Oh yeah, I already got it up. I'm way ahead of you, and I forgot that I'm way ahead of you. Share screen. There we go. So why is it not working? Okay, of course it's not working. It's my show. Nothing ever works. Okay.
A new, exciting team of superheroes has formed in Dallas, Texas. They are called Solo Legion. Purchase your copy of Solo Legion versus the Ice Giant today at prolificestore.com.
Cool. Why are we small?
There you go.
So all right. First off, we got a good comment over here. I didn't want to put any comics up while your trailer was showing. This is so smart because Solo Legion can teach history too. Is it's designed to match human history and existence timeline. So yeah, I think that's, if you remember Doctor Who back in the 60s, Doctor Who's companion, he had a young girl who was a student, his granddaughter, and her job was to be the audience, so Doctor Who could explain it to her. And they had two companions. One was a history teacher, one was a science teacher. The show was supposed to be an educational program to teach history and science, but they did it through fun. I was a big Doctor Who fan. So is this comic correct? Is this one of the things?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So they go back in history and it actually validates the BC and AD timelines. And so they deal with real characters. Like I said, Genghis Khan, they deal with pharaohs. They deal with, I'm going to tell you something else that I wasn't going to disclose, but they actually go back to the Nephilim. So you familiar with the Nephilim?
Yeah.
The giants? So the Bible speaks about giants. So when they go back to a pre-flood world where there were giants. So that's one of the things that they do.
I'll give you guys a see. I'm writing a biblical giant story right now.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. How ironic.
Part of sometimes I'm like, oh man, am I just being influenced by the zeitgeist or am I original? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you'll like it, everybody. You'll like it. The superheroes are great. Two new heroes. That's how I'm going to introduce a hero. So let's see. There's a Latino hero, brown community represented. So do you have a picture that I could of the cover that I, because I just want to get the names of all these here. I love superheroes.
Okay. Are you able to pull up my website, prolifice.com? It has all the heroes right there on the website, there on the first page. And then you can literally click each one and it goes straight to their profile page. And then I can give a summation of each character. But if you go to the prolifice.com.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Why is it not? Okay, there it goes. I'm always hitting the wrong button. Okay, so I'm right here.
No, that's the store. Go to the
Oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prolifice.com. It's the one that says website.
There you go. Oh, and it's got their names. Perfect.
Yep.
I'm on the wrong site. Okay. Oh, there we go. So how did you get? I got to talk to you about setting up a store.
Okay, sure. Yeah, actually, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So here you go. Here's the Soul of Legion. I'm going to make it big.
Yeah, so you can click on any one of these characters and it links straight to their profile page, gives you their height, their weight, their occupation, their summary of their backstory, their weapons, etc.
Okay,
so click on any one you're curious about.
So, okay. Oh, there you go. You got like a who's who. Okay.
Yeah.
So Laser, he's the Latino hero?
No, the Latino is Plastic the Drastic.
Oh.
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong? I'm clicking on things. Okay, so I'm just going to go down. So we got Laser, Typhoon, Amphibian, Frozen Inferno, Hunk. Let me guess. Hunk is big and strong.
Yes, he is.
Again, like if you've been watching my channel, you know, like the name of the superhero has to define the superhero.
It has to correspond to what they do.
Right. Well, that's like one of the things. Like the Rob Liefeld heroes just drive me nuts. Their names don't have anything to do with their powers or voltage. Razor. So Razor's got guns. So explain Razor to me.
Okay, so Razor has the ability to go razor thin and slice through almost every type of material. He also shoots spinning round razor blades out of the gun.
Okay. And I guess mimic copies other people's powers?
Yeah, she has the ability to receive an energy transfer. If she can get you to look in her eyes, she can receive an energy transfer that gives her your powers and abilities.
Now, does that leave the person weakened?
Nope. No, so like, okay, here's a case in point. So let's say she is teaming up with Frozen Inferno. She can look in his eyes and she can receive half fire on one side, half ice on the other, but she stays a female. She's a female version of any of
her body doesn't change. She just gets those powers.
Exactly. She gets the powers in the costume.
I love that power because I love like a rookie superhero. I'm going to put our faces back here. So there we go. I just we're having a conversation. I like to see faces, but I like a rookie superhero. I like when they make mistakes. That's why I like this in Spider-Man when he's like trying to figure out the ways his
Mhm.
power. So this is Mimic. I don't know if she's experienced or a rookie, but in a way, she's always a rookie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She gets the fire and ice powers.
Mhm.
She's not going to be an expert with that.
Exactly. There's a learning curve.
Right. That's
But here's the catch to that. So because she's affiliated with this team, she has multiple times received their powers. So she gets better and better over time at using those powers. So she can team up with anybody.
So if she looks into Frozen Inferno, does he still retain his powers? So now
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's part of when I told you their powers are a miracle. That's part of the miracle of her getting her powers. There's a whole backstory on how she gets that. I mean, but what could have injured her was allowed to give her that ability.
And if I'm stealing, I mean, not stealing, if I'm ruining any of your plots, just say I don't want to say that you read the comic. But say there's a bad guy, okay, Mr. Death. Mr. Death is attacking. Can she forcefully take his power and copy it?
If she can get him to look in her eyes, she can receive that energy transfer. Yep.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be willing transfer.
Nope.
Does she also get like memories like Rogue or anything like that?
No, and that's the thing. I had to stop it at memories because that would technically be a violation of that person's rights.
Right, yeah.
So part of creating characters is where does morality start and end, right? And it's like if you give a power to a hero that violates someone else's rights, are you really creating a hero or are you creating an anti-hero?
Right. Like I always said, like a lot of mental powers to me are borderline villain. Like if you get the power of mind control, your whole thing is you're taking away somebody's agency.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So to me, that's always like, that's just a bad guy. Obviously, Death Touch is a bad guy power. But stretching, you could be a superhero who stretches. You could be a villain who stretches. There's nothing intrinsically, problem causing. I don't want to say problematic. I hate that word. Yeah. There's nothing intrinsically problem causing with stretching. I can't talk to him.
Well, here's the thing. I have an issue with telepaths because of that. It's like
right. Yes, absolutely.
A person's memories are theirs, and you don't have a right to break that. And not to get too far off the topic, but think about stuff that Elon Musk is trying to do, like Neuralink. To me, Neuralink is a violation of people's human rights. A lot of these neurochemical drugs and things that they do to social engineer, a lot of this to me is a violation of human rights because your mind belongs to you. Your memories are yours. And even with a lot of this AI that learns your behavior, learns what you like, and it becomes predictive. It's kind of scary how much they can do based on your known preferences and what they read you being engaged with, and they can predict what they think you'll do, and they can steer you that direction. And to me, it's a violation of human rights.
So. Yeah, I don't want these chips in my brain. Yeah.
No.
Arkham is talking about. I've never liked Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
I always thought Charles Xavier was morally. I want to give the character because the respect that it deserves. It's a great character, but I always thought that because of the power to be a telepath, it's like having the One Ring. You got the One Ring in the Lord of the Rings. You want to be a good guy. Boromir wants to save Gondor, but the ring is going to steer him towards evil. It's why Gandalf won't touch it. Telepathy. How many times did Xavier do shady things? And then what Arkham is talking about. If you watch RJ's show on Wednesdays, I've talked about it a few times. Like I think Cyclops has been damaged by his proximity to telepaths. I mean, every woman in his life has been a telepath. His mentor is a telepath to the point. I like the character, so all this horrible stuff that's happened to him, I ascribe to been manipulated or brain damage, constant probes in his mind. But this is off the topic. But since we're off the topic, I'll ask you one question and we'll get back on topic.
Sure, yeah.
Arco wants to know, do you play role-playing games? Villains, Vigilantes, a superhero role-playing game? You're probably too young for that.
I don't play them, and to be honest, there's a lot of things I wish I had time to do that I don't, and that I can barely see that you're kind of small.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had Jeff D on my channel last week, and he was talking about this. So This is Villains Vigilantes 3.0. I just got it today, so I
Okay.
don't know if it's any good or not. I obviously haven't played it, but
No, I don't play any role playing games. But like I said, there's a lot of things I wish I could get into that I just don't have the time to, you know.
yeah. Unfortunately, life gets in the way of fun. So I want to go down the list. I'm having fun, if you don't mind.
Oh, go for it, man.
Okay, so
And by the way, I'm not one of those people that hates plot spoilers. If you ask me something, I have no problem disclosing it because I'd rather people be interested in what I'm doing. And if I write stories good enough, there's never going to be anything that spoils the plot enough to turn
plus
people
it's
off.
not like you're only limited to one appearance. You can always come back.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Diva.
Mhm.
So Diva obviously has to be a female.
Mhm.
So what is Diva's powers?
So her power is she was subjected to a organic, how do I explain it? It's an organic living rubber. And the accident that gives her powers should have killed her, but she gets the ability to stretch and shapeshift.
Okay.
So, yep. And she has the ability to constrict. So her strength is in constricting, whereas most people's strength is in pushing. I wanted to give her power, but I wanted it to be limited to just constriction because the way she actually gets her power is they're manipulating these anacondas and they are trying to blend these anacondas with this organic rubber because this terrorist wants to use it to terrorize the world. And so basically she ends up in the cage with this thing and it's a whole crazy story. And so when this thing would have killed her, instead she gets a transfer of its ability. So she has the ability to constrict with great strength and manipulate her body to stretch and to be a shapeshifter.
Okay. Virtue. What is her story?
Okay, so Virtue has the ability to pass her molecules through almost any substance. So she can go through walls, but she doesn't just pass through it. She can literally go into the wall and go through the molecules of the wall and come up off on the roof. Or like say she's trapped in a cave and she's being bombarded by 5 giant bears. She can go through the walls at the back of the cave and come out on the other side. So that's how she would escape. But she also has the ability to touch you. And as long as you're holding her hand, she can take you through, molecules, through walls, through rocks, through anything.
Now I gotta ask, when she's traveling, does she have to hold her breath?
No.
Okay, because that Shadowcat from the X-Men, she could pass through walls as long as she could hold her breath, and I just love that limitation. So she'll tell people like if she grabs somebody and she concentrates and takes them with them, she's like, take a deep breath. I just love limitations on powers. Shrink. Okay. So I take it this guy could shrink. Either he's a shrink or he's a psychologist.
No, he's not. He's not a psychologist. He's not a therapist. No, actually, click on him real quick. I want to see if you notice something. Who does he look like?
Who does he look? The costume?
No, the civilian.
I have no idea.
Does he resemble Bruce Lee?
Okay.
Yeah, I gave him a slight resemblance to Bruce Lee because I love Bruce Lee. I've been into like mixed martial arts. Never actually officially trained, but I've sparred with different martial artists and I've done different let's just say different things. So I love martial arts. I love UFC. And I actually gave each of these heroes a different fighting style. And when you mentioned earlier about Greco-Roman, Hunk is actually a Greco-Roman wrestler. So, but Shrink is 7 foot tall. I went against what most people think.
I was going to say, his name is Shrink and he's 7 feet tall.
Well, that's it. So I wanted to go against the paradigm. Most people think, Asian people aren't tall, but actually there are very tall Asian people. So I made him a tall Asian that resembles Bruce Lee, and his power is to shrink from 7 foot down to 1 inch.
It's funny that you said Asian. This you just reminded me of a story, but a couple of years ago at work, I got a piece of ceramic tie. I was chopping through a wall, and even though I had safety glasses on, a piece went in, and then I did what everybody does, but you shouldn't do. Is I went like this, took my glasses.
Oh no!
So I got rushed to the hospital. I had a brick splinter in my eye, and they couldn't take it out. Usually they use magnets and tweezers. Anyway, so as I'm in there, the nurse comes over and I gotta make my face big for a second. She looks in my eye and goes like this.
No way.
That's when I knew it was bad, you know. So I was like, this is the orthopedic surgeon nurse who freaked out. And the tallest Asian man I've ever seen in the world came out.
No way.
And I just looked at him. I said, am I experiencing like delusions? And he goes, no, I'm that tall.
Wow.
So that's what you just reminded me of. Appropriate of nothing.
Well, are you an NBA fan? You remember Yao Ming for the Houston Rockets?
Yes. What was it? And Lin, and wasn't it
Jeremy Lin? Yeah, Jeremy Lin. Yeah, he was tall, but he was a guard. But there was also a guy who played for the Mavericks called Juan Zhu. I don't know if you remember him. But
no,
Mark
but I
Cuban
remember
drafted him.
Linsanity. Yeah, everybody was buying the T-shirts. Linsanity.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So he shrinks and he does martial arts. So let me ask you, if he's an inch tall, could he do body throws and stuff?
So here's the thing. Yes and no. So he shrinks and he still has his strength, but it's still somewhat proportional to his size. But he can also shrink other things. So if he has all kind of tools that he'll shrink down and put in his like wristband. So that he's got hatchets that are his primary.
Oh, so he can shrink other things too. Bring tools.
Yes, he can shrink other things. Yeah, and as he shrinks them, and here's where you have to suspend your disbelief. As he shrinks them, their weight decreases, but as he shrinks, his strength decreases. So it's proportional, but it's still going to be super.
Could he jump on my shoulder? And he's not a 200-pound man, or
exactly?
Okay,
yeah,
because I have a shrinking character. I didn't introduce him yet. His name is Little John, and he's a scientist, but he's an inch tall, and I didn't want to do like he jumps and punches stuff like this. He's an archer. He's playing on Little John, from Robin Hood. So he's a little, basically he shoots like toothpick sized arrows at people, but he's super precise and people don't notice him. Who's going to notice a little inch tall archer?
Yeah. Well, and the thing about it is this: if you have a character that's 7 foot that weighs 250 pounds, and you shrink him down to an inch, and he's still 250 pounds, it limits what kind of story you can write. If he shrinks down and then he flies on the back of a bird, then it makes sense because he's not 250 pounds.
It DC's Adam. He controls his weight. You know what I mean? He controls his mass and everything. That's his superpowers. He could shrink, but he could, retain his weight or lose his. Whereas Ant-Man, he's less fantastic. But they both retain their full strength. Otherwise, they're kind of useless. He hit me with the strength of an ant. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Multicultural representation. So is Amphibian your favorite? Somebody said.
Wow. Yeah. I was actually about to say, can you scroll up to Amphibian? And it popped in. Yeah. Amphibian is actually leader of the team.
Okay.
So yeah, the one right there, yellow and black, dead center. Yeah. He's the leader of the team. And a lot of people point this out, but his name is Ryan Smith. Okay. So, and the reason
is your self-insert.
He is my absolute self-insert, unashamedly. And I did that, though, because it allows me to write stories where I put myself in his shoes. And as the leader of the team, it makes me relate to him. And he's what I would want to be if I were a superhero. He's a basketball player. He's a point guard for a team called the Dallas King Cobras. And so he's in Dallas. And so he is what I would want to be if I were a hero. So he's an underwater. So think about Aquaman. And if Aquaman could change his color and texture like an octopus, had, super strength like a shark or a whale, also had the suction cups of an octopus, okay, had the ability to swim through the water like a dolphin, but with the speed of a black marlin.
Okay.
That's Amphibian. But
I think most underwater superheroes have to have super strength. Otherwise, they would get crushed by the pressure of the sea. I know it's fantasy, it's superheroes. We make up whatever rules we want, but I try to make a little bit of logic to it.
Absolutely.
So in order for I have a villain that I don't want to give his name away yet, but I have a submariner type guy that lives under the water. Of course, he's super strong. Otherwise, Oh, great! He could only go 30 or 40 feet before his lungs give out. That's a crummy guy. So yeah, super strength and underwater go hand in hand. Like people don't give Aquaman the credit he deserves. He's
Well, can I run something by you?
yeah, sure.
So the difference with Amphibian and Aquaman is that Amphibian actually has the powers of these other animals transferred into him, so he's able to use those. But he's also brilliant, so he creates all these high-tech weapons. So one of the things that he can do, let's say there's a cruise, and this cruise is going through the Bermuda Triangle, and they capsize. Amphibian has oxygen pills that he can put in someone's mouth, and the oxygen pill will burst and give them oxygen to get to the surface. So if he's got 30 people sinking underwater, he can swim around to all those people, put an oxygen pill in their mouth, attach a buoy to them, and it'll take them up to the surface. And so he's got a spear gun that is
Amphibian's my favorite. I think that I'm calling it right now. That means Rosa has a crush on you since it's a self-instant. We got a love connection over here. Now watch, you're married to somebody else that I just started a fight. It's all in good fun. Don't get mad.
I told somebody earlier, I said, I got to be ready for anything with John. I've watched enough of his streams. I got to be ready for anything with him. I literally just got through telling somebody that before I jumped on.
I like the way this guy looks metallic. I like the way he looks like he's in black and white.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a mixture of 3 different metals, liquid metal, aluminum, and titanium.
Okay.
So he can be any one of the 3 at any time. He can liquefy himself and go through pipes, or he can become a heat shield by becoming more aluminum, or he can solidify himself and become a titanium whatever. And he can also study the plans of a machine, and he can break himself into all the components, come back together, and become that machine. Or he can turn his hand into a buzzsaw or a blade, or So he's the man. So
okay, yeah, I think he's my favorite design so far.
Okay.
But then again, I'm a sucker for the trench coat fedora kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So Plastic the Drastic, you mentioned him before. What's his story?
So he's actually a Hispanic character, Mexican character, and he's basically, think about Mr. Fantastic and Plastic Man.
Okay.
But add the component that he has a liquid plastic that's like shrink wrap.
Okay.
So he can shoot this liquid plastic and then solidify it. So he can grab things, he can wrap around somebody, he can shape shift, he can do all that stuff, but he can also shoot projectile liquid plastic. So
he kind of reminds me if Plastic Man merged with Paste Pot Pete. Do you remember Paste Pot Pete, an old Fantastic Four villain?
I don't remember.
Paste Pot Pete is I'm the biggest fan of Paste Pot Pete, so I'm not making fun of you. I love Paste, but he was a guy. He had a pot, meaning like a bucket that he carried, and then the bucket had a hose on it, and he shot glue at people, and like they got enveloped. So think of it as a less elegant webbing or something like that.
Yeah,
and they made fun of him, and then later on he became the trapster.
Yeah, but well, no, that's what he can actually do. Yeah, he can actually shoot a liquid plastic at you, and it mimics. Oh, think about it this way: Spider-Man, if he wants to secure you towards a wall, like he can shoot webbing and stick you to a wall.
Yeah,
Plastic the Drastic can do something similar with his plastic. He can encase you in plastic.
Now, does he give you? I mean, are you going to suffocate? Like
Well, you could, if he's threatening someone, he could use it that way. Or if if he needs to take you through water and he needs you to not drown, he can put you in a plastic encasement, take you through the tunnels, take you through the water, and then remove it from you.
So he has control over what
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he can detach it and reabsorb it.
Okay. And then what's the next one? The Ultimate Acrobat.
So he is what I'm sorry?
I said I like the way this guy looks too.
Yeah. He is what you would get if you blended Spider-Man's athleticism with Daredevil's athleticism and then took it next level. So he can contort, he can flip, but he can also use this specific energy to freeze himself in any position.
Okay.
And he can use these energies as platforms to jump and flip and change direction in the air.
Okay. Okay. So like minor Green Lantern ability?
Not quite. Basically, what he's doing is solidifying this energy so he can use it to change direction in the air.
Okay. Okay. So he could use it to like for leverage.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I was gonna. I don't want to give away plot points in my cards.
Okay. Okay.
So we got Lyric over here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
All right.
It looked different when it was small. Okay. Okay.
All right, so I'll give you a little story on Lyric. Actually, when I first got into entertainment, it was because I wrote songs and did music and wrote poetry. And poetry was my first love. And so I always wanted to make a character that was a poet. And so his outfit, if you look at it, it's designed after a sheet of paper. It's white background with blue lines across.
Oh yeah, it looks like a piece of loose leaf.
Yeah, and he called himself Lyric because when he was young, he was suicidal, and his ability to write poetry saved him from killing himself. So when he becomes a superhero who saves people, he names himself Lyric, and he creates his costume based off of a sheet of paper.
Now,
and then, what's that?
I said, now, does he talk in rhymes?
He's actually a recording artist.
He should rap as he talks.
Well, he's a singer, a spoken word artist, and a rapper. So, but he's positive. He's not a gangster rapper. He does motivational. But here's
like Etrigan the Demon. Not that he's a demon, but you know how he talks in rhymes.
I'm not familiar with him, and this is where all this stuff, man. Sometimes it goes over my head. Like I may have heard about it, but not read about it. So I'm not familiar with that guy.
So forgive me for not pronouncing this name correct. Lena Lacard, and if I mess up your name, I apologize. Why so many heroes? I'm going to answer for Ryan because it's fun.
Absolutely. And I've always loved big battles. When I was a kid, I loved G.I. Joe. I loved Transformers. And the more characters to me, the bigger the battle scenes.
Plus, they're called Legion. So a Legion isn't 4 guys.
Exactly. Yeah. And here's the thing. I've got whole formations where this team of 20, because there's a total of 20 characters, they break down into different formations. So if there's a mission that needs 2 teams of 10, they have a formation for that group. If there's 4 missions that need 4 groups of 5, they break down into those. If there's 5 missions that need 5 groups of 4, they break down into that. If there's 10 missions that need
old comic book traditions starting in the Golden Age, with the Justice Society, what they do is in the comic, they're like, let's split up. So you have this great big team of heroes, and then you have like 4 or 5 pages of just Green Lantern and Wonder Woman going off on a team, and then Hourman and what. It's just comic book tradition. And even the Legion of Superheroes, it's like 35 members in that team.
Yeah.
And they would have sub teams within the team. They would have the stealth team. They would have like the team that would go out, the heavy hitters kind of team, and they have the science team. So yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, man. When you create a hero, you've got to create that hero to be interchangeable in the team dynamic so that any of these 2 characters will make a great team together. And by making each of the heroes a great individual character and a great team player, it makes them all fit well together when they're in a 2-man team, a 4-man team, 5-man team, 10-man team. So that goes into the design. Okay. Hey, click on Badger Man for a second.
Oh, I was going to go down the list. I'm going to keep going.
Okay, no problem. Go for it.
So we'll get to Badger. So now we got Leopard.
Yes.
I got to ask, why does Leopard have wings?
Okay, so here's the story on that. So my favorite animal is a leopard. And so I wanted a character called Leopard, but I love all the big cats. And so I thought, well, I can't just make him Leopard because that's going to be too close to a bunch of other, characters out there. So why don't I give him the ability to become any of the big cats? And he's going to need wings because I have this story in my mind where he becomes this cheetah. He's running, chasing this car. It's a runaway car with a hostage in it. And he catches up to the car, but the car is going off a cliff. So if you're just a cheetah, you catch the car and you're going to save the person. How do you save them without wings? And so I couldn't get that story out of my mind. So I gave him the ability to
So
sprout wings.
all I could think of is do you know what a griffin is?
Griffin.
Mythological creature. It's a lion, but it has eagle.
Oh
wings.
yeah. Actually, if you look in Revelation and Daniel, there are creatures like that in
Right.
the Bible, Book of Revelation and Daniel. And I literally, since I was a kid, I've studied like biblical prophecy, and I've seen these artistic renderings of these creatures, and it kind of inspired me. So
There's a comic book of the Book of Revelations.
no way.
Yeah,
No way. Now, is that Bible based or is it a derivative?
Bible based. This is a company, Kingstone Comics. My wife found out about them, and they're all Bible based comics.
Look,
If you look at the back, you can see Book of Jonah. There's 101 questions about the Bible and stuff, but it's all biblical prophecies.
mhm.
I'm having difficulty reading tonight because it's dark right here, but this is so my wife
Interesting.
left this, so I'm halfway reading that. The problem is it's literally the Book of Revelation, so it's not a story.
Yeah,
You know what
which
I mean?
is hard to do.
Yeah, so it's hard to read. What did you
Yeah.
hold up? I saw that you held up something, but I didn't get a chance to see it.
It's the Action Bible in comic book form.
Yes, the action. What is the publisher
It is.
house of that? What is the
This-
publisher?
This is David Cook, it looks like.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
I know Chuck
David
Dick
Cook.
mentioned that,
Mhm.
so that's something that's on my radar. I just don't have it yet.
Mhm.
So we'll go through the list. We got a couple of questions. I want to go through the list. Oh, I
Sure.
love superheroes and their names and everything like
Mhm.
that. So we got Oak Man.
All right, so Oakman,
Finally got a blonde white guy. Finally got a blonde white guy.
yes. So it's an integrated team, and so I've got 2 white characters, 2 Asian characters.
I know. I'm
2
just busting
Mexican
it.
characters. No, it's legitimate. I got 2 white characters, 2 Mexican characters, 2 Asian characters. The rest of the team so far is black, but I've also got 2 Jewish characters that I'm working on, and I've got some other 2 American Indian characters that are going to all be added to the team. So eventually, it'll be at least 2, a male and female of most of the majority cultures. So yeah,
So I like this. This guy has plant-based powers
Mhm.
and a chainsaw.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine if Groot, so Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. Imagine if Groot was actually able to be human, but able to also manifest multiple types of plants. So Oakman has, because of a concoction that he was given as a kid to try to cure his issues with absorbing nutrients, his father was a scientist that tried to manipulate his body using photosynthesis. So his father tried to concoct a chemical mixture of all these different plants that he thought could give Oakman the ability to use photosynthesis, since his body had a hard time absorbing nutrition. Well, that ended up transferring the abilities of all these plants into his body. So he's able to manipulate his body like a plant would. So let's say he's being chased, and this actually happens in his origin story. He's being chased by security guards. He runs into a field, and he changes into a small tree, and they run past him, and that's how he escapes.
Okay.
So I call him Oakman because oak trees are strong, solid, and he has the ability to, which you'll see in the comic book, he's punching one of the ice birds, and his whole arm has turned into a big, solid chunk of oak. And that actually was in the trailer as well.
Yeah. I have I love, Swamp Thing is one of my favorite characters. So I always like plant-based superheroes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I have a couple someday.
uh-oh. Hello?
Sorry.
Uh-oh.
I went to make the screen bigger, and of course I hit the wrong button. So
No problem.
let's okay, cool. This is still here. I apologize for that, but technical difficulties are kind of the way I do things. Yeah, so as I was saying, I really like plant-based superheroes, and I meant to go make this go back so we could go back to the and I hit the wrong button, and I kicked myself out of my own stream.
No problem.
Badger Man. You wanted to talk about Badger Man before we got to Badger Man.
Yeah. So Badger Man actually is, because I love badgers and I love how they burrow and dig in the dirt.
I had a badger-based hero that I had to change because it was too much like I always say his name wrong. Frederick Guimond's character, Rattel.
Okay.
So I was like, oh man. So I actually emailed him, and then we kind of chit chat, and he gave me a better idea. So
Okay.
I had a badger-based superhero, but now I changed it. But anyway, I'm with you. I'm fascinated by badgers. When I lived in Albuquerque, I made friends with a group of American Indians, and they nicknamed me Badger Man.
Really?
Yeah, they said because
How ironic. Wow.
yeah, they were like, they said a badger is trouble, but lovable trouble. So
Yes.
yeah, so
Yeah.
they-
Well, you notice his mask? It's like the face of a badger.
yep, yeah, I like it.
Yep, and he has the ability to burrow underground. But here's the thing that he can do that you probably wouldn't think about till you think about the destruction he could cause across a city if he didn't have this ability. He has a brainwave that is able to speed up the molecules in stone, dirt, etc. And so he can burrow through them because he's speeding up the molecules so fast that it basically liquefies
Okay,
the dirt and stone or whatever. So he can pass through it as a tunnel, but he also has a reverse wave that reverses the damage that he just caused and re-solidifies things behind
so
him.
think about that. So he could, so as he's burrowing, he could like liquefy at almost like an underground wave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So he's tunneling through. So like let's say you're in prison and he needs to break you out of prison. He can go under the prison, burrow through, dodge all the pipes and all that because he's not there to do damage. He can come up through the concrete. He can get you, take you back through the concrete, and then all the damage that he caused getting to you, it goes back to normal. And you escape through the dirt, out of the compound, come out on the other side.
It says the kingdom of Greece is represented as a four-winged leopard in biblical prophet. I'm not 100% familiar, but it sounds yeah, okay.
It's true.
There's a lot, there's a lot that I don't know. So that's did the same thing again. Did this freaking thing. Sorry about that.
Well, that's what I get for having too many characters to.
That's
to
what
go
I
into.
when I click back, I got to hit the tab.
Yeah.
But I'm hitting the wrong screen tab. So,
Okay.
So I'm going back. There we go. Shadow Master. I like this.
Okay. So Shadow Master is basically if you had Green Arrow, but Green Arrow had the ability to become intangible in at least 50% light reduction. So
That's
in
exactly-
shadows,
That's exactly what I thought the powers were going to be. So this name like is 100% spot on bullseye.
and of course he's got the high-tech bows and arrows and all that, but he has the ability to ride shadows as well.
Okay.
So let's say he crawls underneath the car of some mafia guy. He can be intangible and ride the shadow of the bottom of that car to wherever the mafia guy's going, or a plane. He can ride under an airplane as long as he stays in the shadow of
I imagine
that plane.
he's hard to spot in darkness.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I know everybody's got invisibility in darkness, but you know what I'm talking about. He
Mhm.
literally can't be seen.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Now, does his bow become non-tangible with him, or does he goes through the wall and the bow just? Oops.
No. He's anything touching him becomes intangible with him.
Okay.
So like, let's say he
Otherwise, he'd be naked. He's going
Exactly.
through the wall and he's like,
yeah. It'd be a Sue Storm situation.
yeah.
Yeah. So like, let's say he runs into an alley, he's being chased, and they've got machine guns. Once he enters the shadows of that alley, the bullets go through him.
Oh, I gotcha.
But he can also fly through the shadows up to the rooftop and shoot at him from above. So
Okay.
yeah.
Could he elongate himself like a shadow?
No.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Your shadow, depending upon the angle.
Yeah.
Okay, and we got. I'm being really careful not to kick myself out again.
Okay.
So we got the Silver Knight.
Okay. So Silver Knight, so my favorite color is silver. Ever since I was a kid, I loved the Cowboys. I loved the Raiders. I loved ninjas, Chinese stars, a bunch of silver stuff, right? And so I knew I had to have a character that had silver somewhere in him. And so Silver Knight basically uses high-tech medieval weapons, and he can split into up to 10 versions of himself. And he's a baseball player, so his unique sword swing is actually the same swing he uses when he's hitting a home run.
Okay, like that movie Sign, swing away, swing away.
Yep. Yep.
So he's now. I gotta ask: he's a Silver Knight? So like, would he be really good against werewolves?
Yes. However, when my characters encounter vampires, they don't use silver or garlic to defeat them. They actually use, and this is something I wanted to bring up, and I'm glad you mentioned it. They actually use a god glow. So anytime they go up against demonic entities, Satan, Portal Master, possessed people, they use a god glow that gives their powers the ability to affect these other possessed people or creatures or whatever. And so, yeah, they don't use silver or garlic. If they fight a zombie or a Dracula or a werewolf or whatever, if they don't use their god glow to activate that supernatural ability, their weapons don't work against anything supernatural.
Okay. You said you don't play role-playing games, but I don't know if they still do it. But back, in the 80s when I played Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition, the priests, the clerics, they had like a spiritual power to repel the undead. That sounds like what that is.
Yeah, similar.
I'm looking forward to more superhero background, to a new version of the superhero. Cool. All right, so there was a couple of questions. I just didn't want to ruin the flow of the roll call of this. Could you discuss Amphibian's relationship with Melanie? So sounds like somebody here knows your story.
Why did David do this to me? All right, that's okay. So let me give you the backstory on David. So, all right, I'm going to tell on David. So David is actually my script coach.
Okay.
And David helped me write our animated feature film. And the crazy part about that is we actually almost got it greenlit through Sony. This was several years back.
Oh, wow.
And then we submitted it to Amazon, but it was during COVID. And we almost got it with Amazon, but some business things got in the way. And so David is actually a brilliant script coach. He's a writer. He writes movie scripts. And so the story with Melanie is that in the animated film, Melanie is actually Amphibian's fiance. And towards the end of the movie, they're at their wedding, which if you wanted to, you could actually go to my website, go under projects and movie. And I've got storyboards for the script. And it shows a scene where they're getting ready to, he's getting ready to kiss her. And then the monsters break into the roof of the church. And they end up abducting her and whole situation. But yeah, that's the relationship with Melanie. She is Amphibian's future wife.
Okay. That answers that question. And do the characters all get along and like each other?
Yes and no. They all have different. So the way Amphibian runs the team is he realizes these are all individual heroes who have their own motivation, their own backstory, their own convictions. And so his whole thing is he has to trust that they're always doing what they feel was the right thing to do as a hero. And so there's times where they clash. And so actually one of the stories that I wrote is a story where Amphibian's second in command is Hunk. And in this story, Hunk disagrees with Amphibian because Amphibian is more of an individual character. Hunk is more of a team player.
Okay.
So one of their clashes is that Hunk feels that sometimes Amphibian compromises the safety of the individual members by not letting them team up or spreading them too thin. But Amphibian's attitude is, well, we're all individual heroes, so we should be able to handle our missions. And so I've got a story I wrote where they have a major clash and they actually end up killing each other and having to be later on resurrected. But yeah, there's clashes, and then there's times where Frozen Inferno, who has something of a hot temper, he ends up disagreeing with the team and leaving the team. And so, yeah, there's conflict for sure.
You in the old Avengers, back, you know, in the early days, when Hawkeye first joined the team, or when Wolverine had joined the X-Men, he was the gadfly. He was always the guy that just argued with the team leader. You know, Hawkeye and Wolverine filled the same role as you know, the gadflies. You know, who is there one like that? And if so, who in this team?
It would be probably more Frozen Inferno, because he's one of these guys who it borders a little bit on anti-hero. And what I mean by that is his sense of justice is 100 miles an hour. So when he sees a person being victimized, he wants to save them so bad that he's willing to almost go overboard in his retribution towards whoever the criminal was. So, you know, he has to be held back. And that's one of his weaknesses, is he just wants to make that villain suffer for the suffering that he is seeing in real time, you know, towards this victim.
Plus, it always seems like fire heroes are always hot-tempered.
Yeah. Well, here's a little fun fact about Frozen Inferno. So his liquid fire and his liquid ice don't affect human protein. So if you're 100% human, it won't burn you and it won't freeze you. If you're a cyborg, or if you are a mutation of some sort, or you're some weird, what do you call it, amalgamation, then he will burn or freeze you.
Okay.
But if you're human, his liquid fire and liquid ice do not affect you, because you've got a human protein that prevents the damage.
Okay. So
I always thought about the Human Torch. How can he fly someone away from danger without burning them up?
I you know, it's funny that you said that. I was talking about that. I forget with who, but like, can you imagine you're Ben Grimm, or I don't care how tough and strong you are, when you're sitting there talking, all of a sudden the guy next to you bursts into flame. That's gotta be scary. You know, we have this as human beings. There's two things that all humans are afraid of: fire and falling.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And like, you could train yourself to deal with it, but like, you know, if you're just like, and then the guy, just imagine, okay, me, Ryan, you and me, we're sitting in a bar, we're drinking, we're talking about superheroes. Somebody does something stupid. We're not paying attention. We turn around, and the guy next to us just goes flame on, bursts into flame, and stupid. Me and you are going to be like, "What the?" It's terrifying. I always thought that fire powers would scare and then just imagine how hot. You know, like you always see those in Marvel Comics, all the Fantastic Four in an elevator. Johnny Storm's on fire in the elevator. It's like, turn off. Reed's like, oh, it's freaking hot. You're killing me over here. You know, I'm going to melt.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I had to put a limitation on Frozen Inferno. And I thought, okay, let's say you're running from a pack of werewolves. Okay. How does he save you? He can literally shoot his flame past you, burn them up without burning you.
Okay.
Whereas the Human Torch, you would get 3rd degree, 4th degree, 10th degree burns if he did that maneuver. Because I mean, he can go supernova and it would burn you up.
Right.
You know, so.
Yeah, it's just funny. Just like we just take for granted. There's a guy on, like, can you imagine that? Like, I mean, do you see that guy's on fire? And I'm getting out of here.
and you know, it's, oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like shouldn't the ground be on fire whenever he walks? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the same with Firestar. Remember, Spider-Man had Iceman and Firestar?
Yeah, the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yeah, it's the same thing with her. And you know, it's crazy when you're creating characters. People don't realize all the different things you have to think about. And you can either say, well, I'm going to ignore that because it's going to take too much time to work around it, or to create a storyline that solves this problem with the character's inconsistency. You could just leave it. Okay, here's a case in point.
Well, there's real world, and then there's comic book. You know, there's a suspension of disbelief. Like, I'm an electrician, so one of my pet peeves is electrical superheroes. You know, and electrical villains, and like it's just been a trope since Electro showed up in 1965,
Mm-hmm.
that they throw a bucket of water on the electrical guy. He shorts out and
Yeah.
he's defeated. And it's like, that's not the way it would work.
Not
You
how
know,
it works.
So Chuck Dixon had an electrical based villain in Alpha Core. I forget if it was Alpha Core, but in the Ripper. So I wrote him a letter explaining how that wouldn't work. And
Yeah.
Chuck Dixon, he either responds to you or he doesn't. If he responds to you, it's positive. If he doesn't respond to you, either he didn't notice it or he just doesn't want to do. So he never responded to that. Then he came on my channel and he's like, "No, I'm not mad at you. I read your letter." So I'm writing a story how to properly defeat an electrical based villain. So
Okay.
and I don't know if you're familiar with Vaughn Coleman.
Yes, I am. I watched your interview with him.
Yeah, he has a comic called Phenomenova, and one of the main characters is called Galvanite, who has super electrical powers. So he's been emailing me like electrical questions, and I'm like, that's fine. That works for superhero comic books. Like you don't want to get super technical,
Yeah,
you know, because nobody can really shoot lightning bolts.
exactly. Well,
All you have to be consistent.
my character Voltage. Can you click on her real quick?
Yeah, sure. I now I'm nervous that I'm going to kick myself out. Let me do it slow. I'm going to click on her real slow, not real quick.
There you go. So that's my character Voltage. So she is an electrical hero, but here's the caveat to her. She can't project electricity.
Okay.
She has to use weapons that project her electricity. So those cords you see, those project the electricity from her body, and she can throw electricity through those cords. Also, that board she's on, it can pull electricity from her body and shoot it out in front or in back or wherever.
Let me just say that. So I'm a Sandman type of hero. I'm just taking sand because sand doesn't conduct electricity. So the bad guy team, the Sandman attacks her, fires sand at her, gets sand in her eyes, blocks her out, baby starts to suffocate. She panics and drops her weapons and falls off the board. So she's defenseless.
No, she can, as long as she is up close and personal, she can electrocute you.
Okay.
She just can't hit you long range without her weapon.
Like an electric eel, so she can still touch you.
Exactly.
Now, what if she was standing in a pool of water?
In a pool of water, you don't need to be in that same pool of water if she's using her electric powers. I'll put it to you that
nobody does. Like it goes out everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that could be dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah. So the science of it works. So let's say she can't.
Yeah, it does. You're doing it right. You're doing it right. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, let's say she can't shoot a bolt out at you like Electro would do to Spider-Man. But if you're standing in water and she sees that the water she's standing in trickles to your feet, she can send an electrical current through the water and fry you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
there you go. All right. Yeah. You're doing electricity right.
Okay, so there's a character that you didn't click on, and I want you to click on it. Typhoon.
I'm being careful now. I don't want to kick myself out again. So who did I click on?
Typhoon.
Oh, Typhoon. Oh yeah, I did click on Typhoon. Okay.
Yeah. So if he is teamed up with Voltage, he has the ability to pull air, molecules, water, liquids, anything in the air. He can manipulate it. He could literally take the moisture from the air, create a water funnel, and she can touch that funnel, and they could electrocute something in the distance.
Oh, you remember Sharknado?
Yes.
So
that was insane.
So they're going to make a Stormnado.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So that's what he has the ability to do.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. Like like Colossus and Wolverine, they do the fastball special. So since they're on a team, they'll train and use their abilities. And again, I'm trying to click properly without. So I'm trying to. Oh, okay. So here's a question then.
Sure.
Could Hunk? I assume Hunk's got super strength. Grab Razor. She turns 2-dimensional, and throw her like a weapon at somebody. Just like
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. He throws her like a slicing disc. If they team up, like let's say there's a plane. Right, and it's a jet, and it's coming through, and it's lasering people. He can throw her like a disc, and she'll, and then slice the back of the plane.
Or Hunk picks up metallic, he turns himself into a spear or something like that.
Absolutely. So the way Hunk's powers work is because I'm into working out, and you don't get muscle instantly. So he gets his muscle, his strength, his bulk as he presses against something heavy or fights against something stronger. So it's a gradual buildup rather than an instant. So like
Okay.
Superman's got the strength all the time instantly. Hunk literally has to wrestle the monster or be pushing against something heavy, and then his strength grows in proportion to his size as he pushes against tension, pushes against the strength of a another beast that's attacking him. Now, the catch to that is he has to survive long enough to match their strength. So he's got to be crafty in how he fights things stronger than himself. But he pretty much has ability to unlimited strength, unlimited growth, as long as what he's fighting against requires that amount of strength and mass.
Okay. Okay. So I can see that. So all right. So he builds up his strength over the course of the battle. It's okay.
But it's fairly rapid. But okay, so here's the thing I have a problem with. Do you remember in the Fantastic Four movie where there was a fire truck that was coming at Ben Grimm, the Thing, and he punched it and it stopped instantly?
Right.
That to me is, it just defies too much physics. So
Right.
I thought that's too much. Just the
what should have happened is, all right, so we have to suspend disbelief that the Thing has this extraordinary strength. Otherwise,
Yes.
we don't believe. So I could believe that he could lift 100 tons, but he's still only 400, 500 pounds.
Yes.
So the truck, he should have punched the truck, damaged the truck, but the truck should have kept on going,
Yes.
you know, and
Yes.
smashed him. You know, like when Spider-Man in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, when he was webbing and stopping the train.
Yes.
Now, again, we can accept that Spider-Man has that super strength, but he's still, I'm going to round him at a 200-pound or 160-pound kid. So I like that he kept doing and he slowed the train down at tremendous strength to his body, where he damaged himself to the point of that I liked a lot better than, Thing punched the fire truck and the truck went flying. Yeah. It looked good, but it had me like, physics don't work that way. And again, that's silly to say because it's a superhero movie where a guy who stretches and another guy turns into fire and flies around. You know what I mean? But
but here's the thing, though. We talk about why these movies flop. One of the reasons is because they make you suspend too much disbelief. So, for instance, if I was writing that scene, Ben Grimm would see the fire truck out of control, but he would have to run at it to gain enough momentum to match its momentum enough that you believe that it was not just his strength, but it was also his momentum that collided and slowed down the truck. And then he would still have to be pushing with his feet and his hands and going backwards.
But he hits it, the truck, everybody, and then it pushes him, and you see the road buckles slows down, and then you see the little kid holding the ball, like, you know what I mean? That would work. Or he could have grabbed the kid, but it's more exciting to do that to the truck.
Absolutely.
I got to get to bed.
Okay.
You know, we've been talking for an hour. I could talk all night long. So is there anything you want to say in closing to finish this out?
Actually, there is. So I have a line of merch called Be a Hero. And I did something a little bit different than what I see a lot of the indies do, which is, they try to, really fund their comics off of just the team of heroes and the comics and merch. But I actually have a merch line, a full line called Be a Hero. It's beanies, it's caps. Here, I'll show you a few. Hold on, let me see. Let me get this bigger. So I've got things like this, caps. I've got T-shirts that have Be a Hero and motivational quotes about faith. I've also got a Black History line that's part of the Be a Hero brand. And I also have things like this. This is a framed quote that I wrote, and it says, "Heroes are defined not by power, but by their ability to transcend failure to achieve the ultimate success." And so I have these on T-shirts, hoodies, framed, on mugs. And I've actually had people purchase these in my store. And of course, we've got things like this. We've got mugs as well that say Be a Hero. And we've got hoodies. We've got water bottles. We've got a health line. This is one of the water bottles that says Love Your Health. And so I built this concept of Be a Hero as a lifestyle brand. And so it's, teaching people, hey, being a hero is more than just some red underwear and a red cape and, flying around. It's how you think, how you live, what your philosophy is. Are you an everyday hero? Are you, are you actually rendering aid to people who need it in everyday life? Are you representing yourself as a hero to your community? Things of that nature. So that was something that I really wanted to, feature as well. And so when people purchase the merch, it helps us fund things that we have upcoming, such as our video game, our, animation, storyboards for the script, more comic books. We have a full 40 story arc that we didn't get a chance to talk about, but I know it's late. But yeah, so people can purchase the Solo Legion.
Go back. Always,
Yeah.
You're fun to talk to. Fun to talk.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to direct message you or email you rather. I want to talk to you about setting up a store. This
Sure.
is pretty cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Something I would like to do. But good luck, man. This sounds cool. And now I'm going to check out the PDF. I'm sorry I didn't read the comic before it came on, but I see a PDF and I'm like, I want a physical. And I'm not asking you for a physical comic. Don't take that the wrong way.
No, actually, I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you one.
How can people get your comic before you go?
Right there on the store. No, right there on the store. You can literally go. You can get a bundle of 5, and if you get a bundle of 5, they're $9.99 each. You could get the digital for $3.99, and I send you the PDF. Or you can buy them individually for $12.99, and it includes free shipping.
Okay,
So,
and
free
right
shipping.
now you only have the one issue.
Yes, this is
Okay.
our first issue. Yes.
Okay, cool. There you go. That's the most important. How do people listen to you? How do we get this? There you go.
Absolutely.
Let me click on this. I drive myself crazy, but let me make sure. So there we go. Let me get you so people could see. Man, I am sleepy. There we go. I was hitting the wrong buttons again. So this is your store.
Mhm. Yes,
Cool.
sir.
There you go.
And also, I have my YouTube channel as well. So that is Solo Legion is my YouTube channel.
Solo Legion. Okay.
Yeah, you'll see a red S and a red L. And there's another guy who's got a gaming channel that came out after I had my channel. And so his is Solo Legion, but mine has the red S and the red L. So if you go here and you click on videos, actually up here in the, you see in the bar up at the top, you click on videos, it'll take you to the YouTube channel. I don't have as many subscribers because I'm not as consistent as you are, but yeah, that's my YouTube channel right there.
There you go.
And if you see right there, I did a promotion for this and added it to the channel.
Okay. Well, I don't want to, because if I do this, people are going to see all my login information.
No worries. No worries.
Nobody needs to see that. Yeah.
No worries. Yeah.
So cool. So good luck, man. It was good.
This was awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah. It's always, like I said, I've seen your name in the chat for a long time. Believe it or not, I do pay attention. I'm not as daft as I pretend to be on the channel, but I've seen your name, so it's good to see you. Yeah. And reach out in a couple more weeks. And we'll talk again. I should be back to a normal work schedule by the end of this month. It looks like
Okay.
So we don't have to do the midnight show anymore.
Man, can I say one other thing that I completely forgot earlier, and then I will let you go. I'm sorry.
Sure.
So we actually have a video game that we're going to start the pre-order in
Wow.
March. And next time I come on, I can tell you more about that. But on the website, we've got all the animation frames for all the characters. You can play as any of the characters in the game. I didn't get a chance to go into that, but we are going to be launching our pre-order for that starting March 1st. So,
cool. Wow, you got
welcome.
clothes, comics, video games. Man, I got to talk to you. All right.
Absolutely. All right, sir.
All right, thanks a lot, everybody. It's fun talking to you. And
Thank
good night, everybody.
Thank you so much.
At this point, we will say goodbye, kids.
Yeah.